So today we are going to go over a little bit of review and some of our vocabulary words that we have covered thus far this year. We are going to add a couple new vocabulary words. The first thing that we're going to discuss is pattern. Lily, what is pattern?
Pattern is repetition, a dot or a line that repeats itself.
That repeats itself over and over and over and over again. So we're going to do patterns today. We're also going to talk about space, which we talked a little bit last week. And what is space?
When you fill your whole paper.
Fill the whole paper. So we are going to take a pattern and we are going to fill the whole paper. There is an artist that is inspiring our lesson today. The name is MC Escher. It's E-S-C-H-E-R. I'm not going to cover much about that artist, but we are drawing like him. So first things first, we are going to review our colors. So last week we talked about analogous and tertiary colors. What are analogous colors, Lily? Do you remember?
Analogous that are next to each other on the color wheel.
They're next to each other on the color wheel. So if we're looking up at our wheel behind us, red and orange, right, are next to each other on the color wheel. And what is its tertiary color?
Red, orange.
Red, orange. Tertiary just means in between. So our analogous colors could be purple and blue, or green and yellow, or red and orange. And then red, orange being the tertiary, green, yellow being the tertiary. Lime green, yes, being the tertiary. So the next word that we're going to add that we have talked a little bit about in class, but like I said, we haven't had a specific lesson on it, is called complementary colors. So not complimentary like, hey Lily, you look really cute today. Not that kind of compliment, but complement means the opposite of. So on the color wheel, they all have a complementary color. So blue and green, blue and orange, because they're right across from each other, red and green, and yellow and purple. It's not as obvious on my color wheel, which is really hard to see, but I will take a picture. I have a much more intricate color wheel that I keep at my house for reference. I will take a picture of it and I will post it with this video as well so you can see those. So those complementary colors are going to be across the color wheel. So we have blue, orange, purple and yellow, and red and green. Okay. You'll notice actually over here with my primary and secondary, they are lined up as complementary colors. So if you want a little cheat sheet behind me this whole time, you'll have that there as well. So the new word we are going to add today is called tessellation. Lily does not know what tessellation is, although we did do a practice version of this morning. Tessellation is a repeated geometric design. So it's repeated shapes. It's versus last week we did organic shapes, correct? When we were doing our flowers. This week we're going to do geometric shapes. And the way we're going to do that is through creating a tessellation. You are going to need grid paper. We borrowed and took a piece out of Lily's math book. Or you could use a ruler if you're feeling really confident in your ruler skills. But we used grid paper, and then I cut out squares for us to use. You can't really see that as grid paper. There's the grid paper. So for Lily, she's going to do the more simple version of this project, and she has a 10 by 10 square. So 10 little squares up and down. It needs to be the same size. It needs to be a perfect square. I am using a 15 square by 15 square size. So you're going to cut that out of your grid paper, and then you're going to trace it onto a piece of paper that is thicker. And I mean, you could use construction paper would work, something that you're going to hold onto, because you're going to be tracing this over and over and over again. And so this floppy little grid paper is just going to be really frustrating. It's going to slip a lot. So I had watercolor paper that's a little bit thicker, and that's what we used just because I had it in my art room. You could use a piece of cardboard and construction paper like I mentioned. I'm sure your parents could try. I do have a lot of paper. So, first things first, you're going to take your grid. Lily, you got your grid? You got your pencil? Lily told me that she wants to do a fox. And so to do a fox, she is going to draw a triangle at the top, starting in each corner, just a triangle like this, okay? So you're going to take a triangle. Can you show them your triangle? Okay, cannot really see it. Yeah, I know it's kind of blown out. So we're going to go over here. There you go. There's your triangle. And then that triangle, she is going to cut it out. So, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do here. So she's going to cut it out. I'm going to do something that's a little bit more intricate. This would be something that you can do if you are really confident in your cutting skills. You do need scissors for this. It's also going to be a little bit more intricate for coloring. It's going to be a little bit more intricate for tracing. And so you make this choice based on what you feel you're ready for. If you start to do the more challenging one and you discover that it's just a little bit too much, that is totally fine. You can always backtrack and do something in this simpler way. It looks cool no matter what you do. So.
I had to erase mine 3 times the first time.
Our practice one, Lily was very frustrated this morning because she had to erase it 3 different times because she started with something that was too challenging for her. So keep that in mind. It is not a big deal if you need to erase and start over. I want to make a dragon for mine, and so I'm going to draw what I imagine to be ears on my 15 by 15 square. And actually, I don't like it. So I'm going to erase a little bit. I'm going to bring it down this way. And you can kind of see my ears, okay? So what's going to happen is we're going to cut these out, and you're going to cut it and you're going to slide it up. So I'm going to draw an arrow on mine and show you. So after I cut it out, I'm going to slide it directly up, and you're going to tape it onto the top. Lily's going to do the same thing, except hers is going to slide down because she wants those triangles to be her fox ears. So we can all cut together.
Tape.
And then, oh. Okay. Sorry, we're back. We are going to cut, and then we are going to slide in the direction. My ears are going to go up because I drew them on the bottom. Lily is leaving her ears, and so then she is going to slide it up. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. So here is what I am left with. Here is where my ears went. They are going to slide up. And now I have this shape. And we're going to tape it all the way across. Lily's going to tape hers across the bottom. We each have tape, so this is one of the other things you need. I'm going to make a list and a post about all the materials we need, but you need tape, you need scissors. If you need to pause and go get some tape right now because I didn't mention it at the beginning, that is fine. So now I have my template on top for my ears, and Lily has her fox ears.
And her fox head.
If you are continuing on with me to do the more challenging one, I'm going to add a tail. So here's the front of mine, and I'm going to draw a tail on one side, and my tail is going to move as well. And what will happen, I'll show you at the end, is you will slide it the opposite direction. So here is my tail, and after I cut it out, it's going to get taped directly across right there. So I'm going to cut that out. Lily's starting to draw an idea of what she wants her fox to look like on top of her template, which is pretty fun. So I am cutting out my tail like that. See, I'm going to pull it out, and it's sliding across. You want it to be exactly across.
I want the tail to come like this at the end of these.
Yeah, I'm actually going to put mine slightly down. So try it out a little bit different. Uh-oh, my tape didn't quite go on all the way. Okay, so now you can see I have added my tail. And this actually, what does this look like?
A mouth.
A mouth. So Lily has her little foxy. There's her little fox. So we're going to take our template. Lily and I each have a piece of paper. It's about 7 inches by 10 inches. I'm using a smaller piece of paper because this is very, very time intensive. We are going to trace multiple times until our picture is completely full. So since we filled all of our space, and then we are going to trace, and then we are going to color. And so I would recommend that you use a smaller piece of paper. So if you're using just an 8.5 and 11 by piece of paper, you might even want to cut it in half, especially if you're doing the 10 by 10 grid. So you're going to take your little template and you're going to put it somewhere in the middle, and you're going to trace all the way around it. So Lily has already, she put hers right in the middle, right there. And then her next step is her little fox. She's going to slide it up and she's going to match. Actually, we traced it this way, didn't we? Nope. Okay. Did you put that? Oh, Lily, it's not quite right.
How?
This is what happens when I don't pay attention. So we're going to pause and figure out what was wrong. So did you notice when we put this on that this doesn't match right here? It's because Lily accidentally flipped it over. So we're just going to turn it this way so it matches in that hole. We're going to slide it down and put it on the bottom. And so Lily is going to turn her page over and she's going to start over. You can erase it or do you want to start over? It's up to you. Okay, so she's going to trace the bottom of her fox. Okay, so there we go. Now I will show you. This is actually perfect, so we can show what happens sometimes if it doesn't go the correct way. So you can see her fox right there. All she's going to do is slide her fox up, trace this way. She's going to start back where her template was. She's going to slide her fox down and tape it that way as well. From here, she can slide him sideways. Because hers is a simple one, she could even start it this way if she wants. It doesn't have to be directly across. You could stagger it a little bit, but same thing. So you'll take your template for your pattern and you repeat it all the way. So you're going to have some of your foxes or whatever animal you decide to make yours into. Some of them are going to be off the page. It is really important that you do that. You want to fill the whole thing, and then we will come back and I will show you our next step. So I'm going to start by tracing mine as well. Where did my pencil go? There it is. Okay, so I will trace mine. I will show you how I'm going to repeat mine because mine takes up a huge part of my paper, and so the majority of my repeated patterns are going to be off my page. So remember, every time we've talked about repeating our stuff and we go all the way off the edge, you want to imagine what it would look like if it continued off. So last week with our still lifes, I said I wanted you to imagine if your table went off the side. So here is the beginning.
This is your dragon.
That's my old dragon. So I traced this like that, and I'm going to bring it up and just stick him right there.
And his tongue's out.
Same thing on this one. I have to put this here. His mouth has to match where that tail was. So I'm going to continue to fill my space.
And mine has a little tongue coming out.
Yep, Lily's doing her example of her first fox first, and then she's going to repeat the pattern. And then what you're going to do is whatever design you put on that first pattern, you're going to repeat that for every single one. So we'll be back after we have finished tracing all of our animals. Okay, so we're doing a quick check-in as to where we're at. I started with my dragon or whatever my monster that it turned into. You don't have to have a plan before you start doing it. You could just have a cool pattern and then look at it and be like, oh, it looks like a dragon, or oh, it looks like a fish, or use your imagination. I really want you guys to think outside the box on these. And then you're going to repeat that over and over and over again. So I'm going to check in with all my details I did on mine. So you see, here's my crazy dragon. So every dragon has teeth and lips. Every dragon has teeth and lips. Every dragon has eyes in the exact same spot. Every dragon has a tongue in the exact same spot. So you're going to repeat it. The whole point of a tessellation is repeating it. So from here, I am going to trace everything with a black Sharpie. Every single piece of pencil, which is a lot of tracing. When you're done with that, you're going to notice there's some spots that maybe you didn't quite cover up the pencil. Just go back with your eraser and erase it. And then we're going to come in and we're going to add colors. I'm going to show you some of the examples. From your colors, that I want you to do is I want you to again pick some analogous colors in a tertiary color, okay? Or you can pick complementary colors. So I'm going to show you my earlier example from my dragons. This is my first set of dragons. And notice that I did analogous colors. You see my green and my yellow that are next to each other on the color wheel. And then I used just a lighter version. So I have a light yellow and a light green that is on this side, inside here. And then, Lily, what is the complementary color from green?
Red.
Red. What color is his tongue?
Red.
It's red. Okay.
What about the blue eyes?
I have my other one. I did birdies earlier. Do you want to see my birdie example? Here's my birdie example. And again, I did analogous colors. So I have that violet and I have that blue. And then I have a different shade of blue and a different shade of purple that are both in there. And then what color is the birdie's beak?
Orange.
Okay, and what is the complementary color to orange?
Blue.
Blue. Okay, so another example, of course, would be red and green. Those would be complementary colors, and you could do a red, orange, or you could do an orange, blue. So there's so many different choices. You can do yellow and purple. Maybe I'll do that one. Maybe I'll do purple and yellow dragons on my next one. we are going to break, we're going to trace, we're going to color, and I will show you our final products in this video. I would love to see what you come up with. Please show me, tag me, call me if you need to, if you're having trouble. This is something that can be frustrating. I understand that. It's a lot of detail work, so if you need to take a break and come back to it, that is fine. Lily, did you get kind of frustrated this morning, right? We've already talked about that. She did get really frustrated. But then she came back to it and she finished it. And do you guys want to see what her one from this morning looks like? It's a bunch of unicorns. She missed 2 tails. She wanted everybody to know she missed 2 tails, but she has tons of really fun unicorns, and she did some really cool analogous colors. So sometimes you need to take a little break, and that's fine, and come back and color it. And the coloring takes a lot of time as well. So I can't wait to see what you guys create, and I'll talk to you soon.